In fact tuliplan tusirudi nyumbani.
Na akirudi anasema hata nataka kulala tu, kuna birthday ingine tutaenda kesho.
Wakati tunakuwa kwa party tunapewa pombe. Most of the time tunaambiwa tulale bila nguo.
Birthday cake iko pale. Vileo zile walikuwa wanatumia.
So mtu ukisha kunywa unajisahau tu.
Natural sense sio birthday party.
It's a sad affair.
Ni ku have fun tu.
Active sex.
Pornographic acting.
They are doing this.
She would just sit down in class and see the nude photos.
Nimelearn my lesson a hard way.
These young girls come out of these experiences traumatized.
It will be difficult to get kids who have been hooked into pornography, into crime, to come out of it.
So are we going to put them in jail?
Kina nani hawa wamekuwa na wao?
I wish it was not even reported that those kids were handled. But because the media has to report, I hope we can angle that story in a way that people know it's not the way of life.
Nimewashika watu 20 hapa. Wengine wao ni wanafunzi wasichana wa shule.
Young children that were practicing sex at home together in the house, and they are primary school children. And it is not child play anymore. This is real sex that now they are practicing with each other.
Matukio haya huandama watoto wakati wa likizo, hasa likizo inapokuwa ndefu kama ile ya mwanzoni mwa janga la virusi vya corona.
Primary and secondary day schools are to suspend operations from tomorrow. For those in boarding schools, the school administration is to ensure that students are home by Wednesday, the 18th March 2020, while universities and tertiary institutions are to close by Friday, 20th March 2020.
Katika kipindi hicho, baadhi ya watoto waliingizwa katika urahibu wa utumizi wa mihadarati na wengine walidhulumiwa na kufanyiwa ukatili.
Children are really exploiting drugs. Children are really engaging in active sex. In fact, the ones that are using condoms, we thank God that they are. But it's reality that they are doing this.
We have reports of children being subjected to having sex with dogs for filming by some foreigners in this country.
Visa vinahusu sherehe zilizodaiwa kuwa za kuzaliwa, ila zilikuwa za uozo na siri kubwa mno.
In fact tuliplan tusirudi nyumbani during this time hadi Januari. Tulikuwa tumeambiwa tuende Malini tuone wazungu, tutakuwa tunafanya modeling, tunalipwa 10k a month.
Watoto walijiingiza kwa mapenzi ya kiholela na urahibu wa dawa za kulevya.
Officers waliweza kwenda pale na wakaweza kupata watoto 18, wawili wakiwa miaka 18 na wengine wakiwa chini kufika mpaka miaka 16.
Unaona zile pombe tulikuwa tunapewa, sijui ilikuwa imewekwa nini, so unasahau vitu, huwezi kumbuka vitu, ndio maana so like unakumbuka vitu moja juu incidents hazikuwa clear hiyo time, hukumbuki vitu vizuri. I don't know kitu walieka kwa hiyo pombe.
They wake up the next day or the day after that, they can't remember what happened. They don't know what has been done to their body. They are told that, oh, we are having so much fun.
Maagizo ya kudhibiti maambukizi ya corona yaliwapa watoto wakati mgumu.
Ilikuwa utafute tu excuse yoyote kutoka home, so hiyo iko up to you, unatumia excuse tu. So like vile nilikwambia, unatumia kwenda library kama excuse alafu unatoka home.
Walianza kujihusisha na mambo mengi na walipendelea sana sherehe.
Birthday cake iko pale. Vileo zile walikuwa wanatumia. Natural sense sio birthday party.
Katika sherehe hizo kulikuwa na anasa za kila aina.
Wakati tunakuwa kwa party tunapewa pombe, like mtu anajisahau tu. Then most of the time tunaambiwa tulale bila nguo. So like tuna have fun.
Yo hapa Najma, ila si jina lake halisi.
Like hiyo kudisappear, hata vile tulikuwa tumedisappear ilikuwa tu just fun. We just have fun.
And then they think that now that is the life. to get inebriated.
Kwa mara ya kwanza anafichua siri ya yaliyowakumba.
Ilikuwa utafute tu excuse yoyote kutoka home, so hiyo iko up to you, unatumia excuse tu. So like vile nilikwambia, unatumia kwenda library kama excuse alafu unatoka home.
Miongoni mwa wasichana waliookolewa baada ya kutiwa mbaroni wakiendelea na sherehe.
Because of the congestion at the cells, we agreed that watoto wapewe police board na waletwe asubuhi ndio tuanze kufanya investigation, tujue hii pombe ilitoka wapi, wazazi walikuwa wanajua vipi.
Kuna time fulani tulienda huko Thika, tulikuwa mistreated, ndio sasa tukarudi huko Nairobi.
Je, alijipata vipi katika kundi hilo?
Kuna dem fulani anatafuta wasichana sana IG ama Facebook, akishawapata then anawa recruit kwa hiyo gang. So hiyo gang ni ya ku have fun too.
And they form a group, and if you ask this child why they are taking whatever they are taking, they'll say it's because of company. Yet it's not because of company. They're only attracting each other because every one of them has their own challenges that they have unable to face. They are running away from them.
Anasema kulikuwepo msichana aliyekuwa akitumia majina bandia mtandaoni aliyewalenga.
Watu wanachukuliwa from different places juu hadi hamjuani majina, cause most of the girls wenye wana recruit they use fake names.
It's not easy to detect that crime. It's not really easy because you're finding that there are fake accounts that have been opened.
Waliolengwa walikuwa wasichana umri wakati wa miaka 13 na 19 waliopatikana katika mitandao ya kijamii.
Uko place mali tulienda kulala, our boys I think walilipwa kitu 10k. So huyo dem ana recruit wasichana akilipwa.
Some of these young people, you'll be shocked. Some of them are actually students being used to recruit fellow children.
Walipewa ahadi tofauti na hata kuelezwa jinsi wangetoroka nyumbani ili kujiunga na wenzao kwa sherehe tofauti.
Most of the time these young girls are caught up into groupings online that then give them promises. We call it catfishing.
When it gets offline, we are talking about a very sad state. A sad state of where children end up even being killed after defilement.
Waandaji utafuta chumba mahali au hoteli na kulipa, kisha kuwatafutia watoto hawa pombe na vileo vingine.
Hapo bangi iko included, so pombe, bangi zina nini hapo ndani. But sasa before like tuende to disappear, ilikuwa bangi unanunua kitu kama so hivi.
They have been smoking bang ever since they left school during this corona time. Na kuna mmoja amesema alianzia wewe kukunywa bangi from class 7.
Wengi walianza kutumia mihadarati na kujiingiza kwa ngono hapa.
Ukiona watoto wanatoka all the way from Nairobi, Juja which is another sub county, na wanakuja upande huu wa Kawasukari, then ni mambo mengi sana inaweza fanyika bila wazazi kujua.
Why do they start abusing substance? Who is supplying them with this substance? So when you start looking at this, then you can really tell these are people who are managed, who are using these children to still continue making their business to continue booming. So it is a business.
Kuna friend of mine mwenye alikuwa na 52k kwa M-Pesa during this time.
Hiyo simu ya huyo msichana kulikuwa na message alikuwa ametumia moja wa wasichana 8000. Na huyo msichana pia alikuwa join hiyo group. Of which huyo msichana anajua link ni kama yeye ndiye anatumika kuwaita.
Then they are influencing our girls na ile pesa seducing them. Wanawatumia. Sasa unaona imefikia pahali mtoto ametoroka for 12 good days.
Matukio yalikuwa ya kutisha.
That person who is throwing these drugs into those children is spending money to do so. And in doing so, there's something that they're getting out of it. So either they're abusing the children or using the children or doing something that they are making money out of. Somebody somewhere is making money out of that entire process to have a big party with underage children, to sexually abuse the children. Because many of the times the children get so inebriated they black out or they lose their senses and they cannot remember what happened.
Ni akina nani hawa wamekuwa na wao? Because wamekuwa wakituma audio for the last 4 days wakiwa walevi. Sababu nasikia wakisema tumejua wanaume wako na sasa ndio tumejua kuna wanaume wako na pesa.
Anasema wasichana wangekuwa kama 8 hivi na wavulana 2 au 3 tu.
What will happen if they drink, if they smoke bang? What will happen at the end of the day? They become high. And then the next thing is you find that they're going to have sex with the person that is next to them. So between themselves, having sex with each other, you know, in itself, it's a sad affair. Yeah, it's a very sad affair.
Then we have no future, because our future is our children.
Walipotiwa mbaroni kulipatikana aina tofauti ya mihadarati na mipira ya kondomu. Ilikuwa sherehe ya kuchezwa shere na kukirisha baadhi.
They found 44 children of the age bracket of 14 to 17 that were in that house. The house was in a sorry state, because in the same house our officers recovered some cannabis sativa, that is bang. In the same house there was whiskey consumption. In the same house there were used condoms. These children, some of them are in primary school, while others are in secondary schools. All do not come from Nairobi. We have some even coming from as far as Machakos.
Waliponusuriwa ilazimu serikali kuandaa mpango wa kuonana na wanasaikolojia wa kuwapa nasaha.
It's very disheartening that you are dealing with a child that is in Form 2, is in Form 1, but they are already an addict of drugs. They are already lesbians.
Idadi kubwa walishauriwa na mama huyu.
But the issue here is not even how they are doing it, but why are they doing it?
Lydia Ngwiri ni mtaalamu wa saikolojia ya kusomwa tabia maalum za watu na pia ni mwalimu wa shule moja ya sekondari hapa Kenya.
Today I was dealing with a child in the office who is drinking and is also in taking marijuana, and he's only in Form 1, and he's already hooked, and he started when he was in class 6. Reason being, I'm the only child. My mother left me when I was in class 1 and went to live in Britain and forgot about me. So I'm taken care of by my grandmother and my grandfather. But my greatest question is, why did she reject me? So I feel rejected. I'm so bitter with her. I'm so angry with her. You see, those are challenges that a child is supposed to deal with, but they don't know how. So they are running away from those challenges, and in the process they get into drug abuse.
Anafungua ukurasa wa aliyoyabeba kifuani.
They have gone too far into addiction, and most of them are not just addicts, they are also peddlers. There's what children call end of term party. So we are crossing school, so there is an end of term party. So they organize. Of course now they use social media and the like, but that is an end of term party. So they organize where to meet, and when they meet, they have changad money for drinks, for bangi, for everything, and then they will come together and they will have the drinks, and of course sex is free now. They do all that without parents realizing what is happening, but actually unfortunately it is happening.
Msichana mmoja anadai kuwa kutoroka kwake nyumbani kulichangiwa na kuzuiliwa ndani bila ya kutoka kwa muda mrefu katika kipindi cha corona.
She tells me it hurts, mwalimu, when children are playing outside and you are watching through the window and you cannot be allowed out. So when I reached a point where I can go out, I decided to hit back on my mother.
Baadhi ya watoto waliozuiliwa na wazazi wao kutotoka na kutangamana na wengine waliishia kutumia muda mwingi katika mitandao ya kijamii.
I am absent as a parent, so I'll make sure there is Wi-Fi, there is all the gadgets in the house so that they are happy and they don't realize my absence. So in the process, they are misusing the gadgets.
Shule zilipofunguliwa, athari za matukio zilianza kuwaponza.
I dealt with a case of a girl who has been sent away from school because of lesbianism. When I was dealing with her, I came to discover that during the corona period, those 9 months, she was not leaving the house. But she's left in the house with everything. So she watched a lot of pornography. And then she's exchanging the material with others. In the process, others are taking their photos when they are nude and then sending to each other, and in the process she was hooked to homosexuality. So when she went back to school, nothing else. It's just practicing homosexuality. And that is what is happening.
Walakini mtoto mleavo ndivyo akuavyo. Huu ni mtihani kwa jamii na wazazi kwa jumla.
The grooming happens, and before you know it, it moves from online to offline. And this is when now we have the physical meetings. This is when the child is told, now get me your friends or get me your classmates, and you guys make a video of yourselves, send me the video, and then I can give you some money. They give in and accept on condition that you send me your nude. You send me a video of yourself naked, and that's how it starts.
Others are being hooked into, like the boys, gazing through the phone. They are being hooked into satanism through the phone, just in the house. And some of them are even giving details. Just somebody connects with them over social media and they give details of even their parents and so on and so forth. And these people start demanding money from them. And it is happening on social media.
This is a gap that the online criminals have identified. So what they are doing is they are taking that gap, they are trying to close the gap, they are trying to befriend the children, so they are becoming much more closer to the children than the parents.
Ila kuna wana watundu walioamua tu kuwa wahuni.
What you are watching is what you do. Because there is the acting out. So if they are kissing, that is what I'll start doing. So they start with the soft porn. Very just seeing nude photos. And they continue. Those nude photos that are sent to classmates, to who finally they reach the parent. And it becomes a very bad issue.
Hao wamekuwa hatari kwa marika yao.
Wana target wasichana wale werevu ama vijana, then wanapo target wanajaribu kuwaingiza maybe kwa vitu kama drugs, cult, kwa brainwash, ili mission yao waingize kwa ile mambo inaweza kuwa dangerous. Na pia kuna information, kula ule mzungu amekuwa akipiga simu international, na huyo mzungu inaonekana anahusiana hata na kuna group ile inahusiana na huyo mzungu, nikawa wanapanga kutraffic au wasichana. Juu ameshinda hata akipiga kwa hii simu, na tumejaribu kufuatilia hiyo line, na hiyo line ni line ya United Nations.
Lakini jambo ni kwamba hii watoto wanafanya ni ile mambo wanaona wazazi wakifanya manyumbani.
Na hapo ndio aliweza kufungua mlango usiku na akapotea kama watu wamelala. So asubuhi watu wakiamka walipata milango iko wazi, hakuna mtoto.
Kwa mjibu wa uchunguzi, baadhi ya visa hivi vinaendelea.
Tangamana wasichana kwa wavulana baada ya mtihani ya wavulana kutoka shule ya karibu. Na tunaona kwamba hiyo ni ukosefu wa nidhamu. Hata wale watahiniwa wanaofanya mtihani kutoka nje ya shule, kwa sababu kuna wao, wasikubaliwe kulala ndani ya shule ama kutangamana na wanafunzi wenzao wa jinsia tofauti.
Mfano, polisi wameripoti tukio la wanafunzi wa shule moja huko Voi kufukuzwa shuleni kwa madai ya kujihusisha na tabia ya watu wazima na wavulana wa shule jirani.
Board imechukua hatua mara moja. Hawa wanafunzi waliohusika watamaliza mtihani wao kutoka nje ya shule, ili wasiwaharibie wanafunzi wale ambao wamefuata nidhamu yao mtihani wao ambao wanaendelea kumaliza.
Mutisia Mweni ni msimamizi wa kitengo cha kuchunguza dhuluma dhidi ya watoto cha DCI.
Most of them said that they were not exploited sexually, of which we highly doubt.
In most cases they don't even understand themselves what is happening in their life.
Kitengo hicho kilichunguza yaliyojiri wakati watoto walipokamatwa na kuokolewa.
You find that they've got a very active social network, very active, where they are communicating to each other through social networks, and you find that all these children each has posted their birth date in the social media. So they've got a WhatsApp group where you find each and every person knows the other person's date of birth.
Kando na kupiga picha, wenda mnahusika kwa nini nyingine?
Watu wanakutana, wanajuana, labda watu walikuwa wanaona kule hivyo Instagram, unaona picha ya mtu. Sasa leo labda unakuja unapata huyu mtu namuonanga mahali online.
Hivyo sasa huku utapata kuna watu hadi wako na mabebs zao hapa, wamekuja kupigwa picha, wametokea town Sunday.
Watoto wametelekezwa na wahuni wamejipa kazi ifaavyo.
It's a bit difficult for the parent because the children are very clever. They are clever than the parents. So even if you broke this way, they know that way. But creating awareness is very, very, very important.
It's a challenge to get evidence on online crime. It's usually a challenge. Why? Because you'll find it's a troll. You might find that a crime, the person that is behind the whole crime is even out of the country.
Wanapoenda shuleni, matatizo hayo huandama.
So they are just fantasizing. The other day I got with a girl who was sent home because of lesbianism, and she told me she would just sit down in class and see the nude photos that she was watching during the holiday. Unfortunately, some of them belong to some of the girls in the school. So the performance goes down, skyrocketing, and they won't perform because they are thinking of other things other than education. It is very traumatizing for that child, and they will react with misbehavior.
Wengine hulazimika kuacha masomo katikati kutokana na changamoto kama hizo, na baadhi huamua kujitoa uhai.
The hardest point is when the false accounts are created. Getting the real one, it's very difficult, and especially not only to us, but even to the children, because you find that even these fake accounts, they're being used to troll the children. So what is happening to the children? They're getting traumatized. They're getting stigmatized.
A crime has been committed. Remove the blame from these children for running away from home and point the crimes that have been committed, and so that we can start following the criminals and not start asking these children questions. These children have already been abused.
These young girls come out of these experiences traumatized. And a lot of those things that they get involved in can be highly addictive.
The most affected gender is not the girl child. It is the most reported.
Lakini nani ananufaika?
The drug traffickers are benefiting, and then the recruiters are also benefiting.
They are the pornography makers who are using children.
Licha ya ukatili huo kufahamika, jamii ngali inaifumbia jicho balaa hiyo.
Walikuwa arrested, wakapelekwa kwa police station. Ndio sasa walikuwa wanachapwa, moja yao alikuwa anafungua hizo links zenye wako. Ndio tukajua wako hiyo group ni around 50, na kuna wale wanawasponsor.
You can't have your child living a completely, totally different life which you have no knowledge of, and you only find out when the police now start coming to look for you.
This thing can ruin an entire generation. It is that serious.
Ezekiel Mutua alikuwa msimamizi wa shirika la filamu hapa nchini.
Those who exist to destroy, they are prowling, they are preying on our children and their innocence and their curiosity, and they are luring them into sexual exploitation, into drugs, into pornography. Why would you do that?
Ili kuepuka hasara kubwa, ufa unahitajika kuzibwa mapema na samaki ufa akunjwe angali mbichi.
It's better to address this issue now with every force that we have, every resource that we have. This is more critical than any other campaign. Children who grow up now addicted to pornography, to crime, to drugs, will be criminals. The government will be spending so much money trying to rehabilitate.
I may learn my lesson a hard way.
There must be a way that those girls feel this is wrong. They must be spoken to, they must be cancelled, but there must be disciplines.
I do not advocate for the rod. It is not the cane that makes somebody to behave well. It is that individual understanding that what I am doing is wrong.
Worldwide, we have around 750,000 predators looking forward to grooming or recruiting children at any given moment for the purposes of abusing them sexually.
Watoto wamo mashakani.
To ensure that we come up quickly with mechanisms that would protect children from exposure to harmful content, to create impressions that will make children understand the dangers. How do you see the telltales when a pedophile is preying on you? How does a child notice when a pop-up comes up and it's inappropriate? What is the language? And then how do we have a conversation about screen time? how much time a child needs to spend on the screen and what they are watching. And the ones who could have been lured into that, how do we save them from the addiction and restore them without them feeling condemned?
If I want children to stop doing something, I don't tell them, from today we are not going to do this and this. I'll just bring a discussion, an informal one. What do you think about? They will come up with the rules and they will come up with a penalty for breaking the rules.
Judy Kaberia ni mwanahabari wa kimataifa ambaye amefanya uchunguzi kwa muda kuhusu visa kama hivi.
Because of their naivety, children between the ages of 10 and 17 become the easy target of the predators. When predators come and offer to be there for them, to guide them, to support them with finances. For example, if you look at the case of the German, the 71-year-old man who managed to get children first online, got them phones, and even managed to start exchanging with them the nudes. These are children from very, very humble background. So these children became easy targets, and because of their vulnerability, that's how fast they were met online, and before they knew it, they were actually transported all the way from Kisumu to Nairobi.
Kutokana na tajriba hiyo, Judy anafichua siri nyingine.
When I was doing my stories, one of the things that really left me perturbed is that the moment, for example, the trafficker tells a child, send me your nude, and the child sends the nude. The next thing, send me your photo when you're in the shower. The next thing, send me your photo doing like this and that, and they're completely naked. The moment the trafficker has this photo already in their possession, and they tell this child, now let us meet, or do this and that, bring your friend, and when the child says, no, I can't do it, the trafficker starts threatening the child. They tell them, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, I'm going to show to your parents this photo. I'm going to show your parents the kind of videos that you do. So because the children are afraid of telling their parents, or they're afraid of the parents knowing that they did this kind of photos, they sent this kind of photos to such a person, what will the children do? They oblige.
Watoto hawa angalabu lazimika kushiriki matukio ya utu uzima ili kuwaburudisha wahusika fulani.
They have even gone to as far as having live stream of pornographic acting. And what happens is they go around, gather children together, and this is happening especially in Mombasa and in the informal settlements in Nairobi. The moment they lose their senses, they are forced now to do anything that these predators want. This is when now they start streaming live, and they do it very fast. It doesn't even take more than 5 minutes. So they move from one place to another.
Ni kutokana na hilo, washauri wana wasiwasi mkubwa.
Freedom is earned. If they can hear me, freedom is earned. We are not going to do what you want. We are going to do what I think is the right thing. You train them when they are young.
Maana watoto wengi sasa wanavutiwa na wale watu wanaimba, wanatengeneza filamu, actors on films and in theaters. Those are the guys who are attracting and shaping the values and character of our children. And so they must be responsible.
We are not trying to question at the process which was used to have them leave their homes, get into vehicles and go all the way to the place where they were found. From the moment that we realized that these children actually had been recruited by a criminal group, then it ceases from being a missing child to a victim who's been abused.
Wanasema kabla ya dhuluma kufikia kiwango hatari kama hicho, watoto wanafaa kujitokeza ili kusaidiwa.
Na hakubeba guo. In fact, my daughter left wearing a short and a t-shirt. Vile vile msichana wake alitoka tu na trouser na top.
Niliongelesha mtoto, hata nikapeleka mtoto akuwe tested. Akaanza kuuliza maswali, if God exists, vitu kama hizo.
Wazazi walipogundua kilichowakuta watoto, wanajawa na hofu zaidi.
Hii sio kitu sasa itakuja kufichwa tena. Uchungu ya mtoto ni kubwa kwanza kwa mzazi. Na hasa kwanza wangu hajawahi potea hata siku moja. You can imagine this girl just did as a KCP last year. She was able to score 420 marks.
I wouldn't say that I'm going to blame the parents. I'm not going to blame either of them. It's only that we are not able to control the use of social media.
The responsibility of bringing up our children is a collective one. A lot of parents are digitally illiterate. They are not as savvy as their children.
Parenting is a very difficult exercise. There are not many people who are good at parenting.
Inatisha zaidi kwani watoto wengi hawakusema waliokumbana nayo, ila upelelezi waligundua.
And you'll find that the passion is actually hidden in secrecy. It's very hard to get information out of any of them.
Kalikuwa kanaambia ndugu yake, hawa wazazi ni bafara sana, ni wachenzi na wanatuambia tukue na zero pressure. So it has been so much tormenting.
It's just rebellion. rebellion for different reasons.
The moment you pamper your children, calling them daddy, calling them mommy, and they can disappear from home and say they were bored and come back and it is business as usual, we have no country. The future is gone.
Uozo ulioko katika jamii si wa kusemwa tu, bali unahitaji vitendo upate kukomeshwa na watoto kusalia kuwa watoto katika hali ya usalama popote wanapokuwa.
Tahadhari ni kwamba wazazi waweze kufanya close monitoring.
Close watch of our children.
There is no amount of legislation that will save us from the lack of morality. It is the breakdown of our moral fiber. You know, it is irresponsibility. Parents abdicated their duty.
About how we can help them, heal from what happened. The fact that yes, we've exposed them, but are we asking ourselves, what is the future like for these children after what happened to them? And after everybody knowing that probably they were sexually harassed or they were sexually abused. These are minors, they are children below 18. These are children.
We should not deal with our children harshly. We should be open. We should communicate with our children. We should be able to come to a place where our children feel like they have an avenue of relief.
Japo mtoto umleavyo ndivyo akuavyo, usisahau pia mashirika mabaya uharibu tabia nzuri. Na kwa kawaida majuto huwa mjukuu na huja baadaye. Franklin Wala, makala ya Jicholangu.